This is going to be a quick guide through how we can do some basic Lawson secure reporting. Won't show all the functionality, but you'll get a good idea of the type of features that we provide. So I'm going to go ahead and select my production server. We'll do this on either your test or dev environment and your production server. We report against multiple profiles, so your general forms and tables profile will be marked, but we also have access to environment and gen and Logan and the different profiles that are defined. So we have 3 or 4 major categories here: users, roles, security class, statistics, which gives us some additional information, and then the listener data is more for our monitoring application. So let me go over and give you some basic idea of how we do some filtering and some grouping and sorting. So we have the option here to select specific user, a group of users, users that contain maybe a certain name. Maybe I go to roles and say contains management, but I can also go to advanced, and I can pick out either by hitting the control key just the roles I want to work with, or I could come down here and say contains management. Let's just say manage and add those. So I'll get all the roles. So I have different ways of filtering and including information that I want on these reports. I'll go ahead and remove those and go back to all. But I can do that for classes, forms, and on the other queries it depends on the information that's on the report. So I'll go ahead and run this report, and we're going to populate a grid of data that you can work with within the browser. You can always export these, so we have options to print directly to the printer, export to Excel or to a PDF. You can also save reports, so once you have a report you like, you can save it as a favorite, come back, run it again. You can schedule it. You can do a number of things with saved reports, including exporting and emailing. So I'll show you a couple ways we do things here. So we show how the filters work on what data I want to pull into the grid. Once we're in the grid, we can additionally add filters here by coming down and say maybe I want all forms that start with HR. So now I'm just working within the data that I pull. So I can filter here. I could add another filter here and say I only want to know certain. I also want the role. The role has to start with HR. So we can layer up our filters that we want to add to restrict the data that we want on the report. I'll go ahead and clear these filters out. Now we can easily sort on these by just clicking on the column header, and we'll sort, and it could be any of these. Could sort by the name, I can sort by the user ID, whichever method I want to use for sorting. Now we can also do grouping. So if I want to group this report by user, I'll drag the user ID up on this column, and I'll say I want to by role and by security class, and I can see here that A. Davis has 4 roles. The AC accountant role has 9 security classes, and the AC burden security class has access to these forms. And I scroll out to the right, I see the available function codes and the role that's assigned. So pretty easy access to what's set up by a user, what level of access they have, their permissions. You can of course group these and flip this upside down if I just want to group this by form and sort by form and then go by user. I can see the number of users that have access to AC00.2, and if I want to see the level of access, and this is the number of ways they can get there, F. Nelson can get there a handful of ways through different security classes and roles. And if I scroll out to the right, I'll see I have some conditional logic and some inquiry-only access. So I have some conflicting access for this user because they can get to the same form multiple ways. But it's pretty easy to do grouping here. It doesn't matter if I want to look at the model top-down or bottom-up. You can close these out. Go back, sort by user. So we saw grouping, filtering, sorting. You can also drill to additional data that might be, if you want to drill to the role and see all the detail from within a role, you can say, show me all the security classes that live in that role. And from maybe a security class, you want to see everything that lives within AC budgets. I can maybe go to all objects. So if it has tables and programs, I see all that information here as well. So you can group this, again, any of these queries that opens different pages in my browser. So I'm working with individual queries at this point, of which I can just close these pages and go back to where I was. So again, you can export, save, group, sort, filter, do pretty much anything you want to do here. You can even hide columns, show and hide columns on which those you want to see on the reports. But that's kind of a quick entry into how we create reports within our application. And all those capabilities are available on every report that you see on our security dashboard. Another option we've added to our security dashboard is the ability to take snapshots of your security model at any point in time. With that information, we can compare your current security model to the snapshot, or we can run reports from that point in time. So to do a comparison, I can pick any of my reports, and if I go to my user role report, I can pick all users or a selected user just like any other filter, or I can tell it I want to compare this back to how my security looked on 12/31/2015. When I run that report, I'll get a list of adds or deletions from the security model. Now I can group this by the operation, so I've had 20 adds and 27 deletes. To look at my adds, I can see by user what's been added. And of course I can layer these up, and I can look at my adds and see A. Davis has 3 adds since that point in time. Now I can also look at what my deletes are. So if I scroll down to the bottom, I'll see that these have also been deleted for an individual user. If you just want to look and focus on one user, you can easily enough come up equals F Nelson, run the report, and you'll see what's been added or deleted from that user as far as roles. Now I can do that on any one of the queries that I have built into the application. I can also go back and look at that snapshot, select the data I want to run reports for, and I can now just run a report based on how the information looked at that point in time. So if I want to look at user role assignments from 12/31/2015, this is what I have, and like everything else, I can group this by user, and I can now see what role assignments they had back at on that specific date and when that snapshot was taken. So no limit to your snapshots. You can delete them whenever you want. You can compare to any point in time based on your current settings to those historical settings. If you'd like more information on our products and services, please give us a call.